everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with the fourth layout using the March Hip Kit, and I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I might be using. I did take out those two thickers, but I don't end up using any of them, but I do use the tiny aqua stickers. And again, this month what I did was I just took all my add-on pattern papers and I cut them apart. And I got a few layouts done, and then I had a couple days off in between, and then I took the half hour, 40 minutes that it took me to, take those pattern papers and put them together, the ones that I thought looked good together and with the background. And then I chose pictures and embellishments, and then that saves me a whole bunch of time when I just have a few minutes. I just sit down or stand up, because I scrap standing up, and get a few pages done. Now the background paper is crepe paper. The rest I really don't know because I cut them all apart. I cut off all the branding strips. But if you're curious, which pattern paper that is, if you go to my March Hip Kit haul, I go through all the pattern papers and tell you which one is which. Now in the color add-on, you got the cracked pistachio distress paint, and it was a 5x8 bubble stencil, and I had most of what was in, and there was a few other things. I had most of everything that was in that kit, so I didn't purchase it. But what I did was I went and bought, I wanted the 5x8 bubble template, but it wasn't available when I went to Simon Says Stamps, so I purchased the 9x12. Since then I've received the 5x8, so I'll be using that one too on my layout. But I used that template and kind of did a background. Now I'm using some light modeling paste and not coloring it and using it. And I showed you a little remote control. I bought a remote control for my phone. I bought a new stand to sit my phone in, and it was also good for iPhone 6, and I knew I was getting my iPhone 6 soon. And I wanted to make sure that I had, a stand for it or a holder for it to film, but it also fit my iPhone 5C, and it came with a little remote control. So now I don't have to put my hand in the way. I just use that little remote control. So I showed you what it was. It's a shutter something, but it all came all together. Also had little mini tripods in it too. And if you notice, like, some parts of the video is really pixelated and it's kind of shaky, and I think my iPhone 5C was dying, and today's April 22nd, so I went and bought myself an iPhone 6 yesterday. So I still have like 3 videos to do voiceovers, but after that hopefully the videos will be better because it'll be filmed with my iPhone 6. So I did the first background. Like I said, I used the cracked pistachio. Then I used light modeling paste just to give it sort of a different texture. And then I dried everything. Now I really love that pattern paper, and I love coloring those pattern papers in just a few spots, just so that it kind of had, it just kind of a shot of color here and there. So I'm taking some distress stains that are from my stash, and then I'm using some dilutions that we got in a previous kit. It was in the February kit. Now I didn't have at this point the yellow that came in the color add-on of the March Hip Kit. I now have it. So what I did was I just took from my stash. I have the Squeezed Lemonade from Tim Holtz, the spray stain. And so I'm going to use that to color in some of the flowers. And so I'm starting with the cracked pistachio, and now I'm using the distress spray stain, and I want to do some in the yellow, some in the pink, and then I also am going to color some of the leaves. And to color some of the leaves, instead of going to get, something else, go search for another spray stain, I'm just going to mix the blue dilutions and the yellow distress stain and make my own green. So I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little container that I can mix those two together. So I didn't want to make a whole bunch, so I'm trying to conserve my inks. So I'm not touching the other colors so that it doesn't, contain my nozzle. But I didn't have enough yellow, so it looks a teal. So I'm going to try and add some more, and then boom, I add a whole bunch. So what I end up doing, I have these little containers, and I put the rest of it in there. So if I need another green, at least I'm not wasting any more spray stain and dilution ink. I mean, there's a lot in a bottle, but if you have, I don't like wasting. I know I have a lot of supplies and a lot of stash, but you'll never see a destash video, unless something drastic happens. But you'll never see a destash video because I plan on using everything. And, the spending days are going to stop eventually. Like, if we do build this summer, if we can sell our house and we can build, then a spending freeze will begin, and it's going to be a pretty long spending freeze. It'll probably be, one order every 2 months or something like that. And so the stash that I have, I am totally going to be digging into it, and you're going to be seeing all kinds of, using older products. And I have products that are like 13 years old, and I don't care. Like, I just am so going to use everything. I call this my retirement, savings, because I know once I'm retired, I won't be able to maybe buy a little bit here and there, but I'll have lots of stash and I won't have to worry. So anyway, back to the layout. You saw that little container that I put that extra spray in. I just got that at the dollar store, and it works perfectly. And then I just used my Ranger tool and I dried everything up. And I mean, these pattern papers, they were in the size that I had cut them. And if I feel like I can cut them down, like that blue pattern paper there was quite a bit of it that was going to be kind of not shown in the back of this pattern paper. I kind of cut it off, and then I'll use it on another layout. I have, I believe, about 8 layouts put together that I'm ready to scrap. So that'll make about 12 layouts. And then once I'm done that, whatever's left over, then we'll see how many layouts I get with this kit. There's no extra 6x6 pattern paper pads this time, so I have to use, the 12x12s for my layers. But I might try and use maybe a little bit more cardstock so that I can get more layouts done. And that's what I like. I like to get as many layouts possibly done with one kit. Might as well get the mileage out of the kits. So now, I have the layers all the way I want them. So I'm just going to glue them down. And then that way, when I work with doing my clusters, don't have to worry about gluing down the clusters of pattern paper. So at this point, I took some of the chipboard stickers and their little frames, and I love to cut them apart. And then that's where I start building my clusters. And there was the word love on that Craft Market 12x12 sticker sheet, and I'm going to use that as part of my title. And then there was another sticker from one of the sticker sheets, and it said hello. So the title of this page is going to be Hello Love, and then a subtitle is going to say Central Park. And this is a picture we had planned on going to Central Park, but not that day. What we had planned that day, we had planned to do the Empire State Building, and then we were going to do the museum. Well, on the train going over to the museum, everything, when they say in a New York minute, well, it doesn't happen quite that fast. So it took us quite a bit of time to, you have to wait in line and everything at the Empire State Building. So by the time we were done, And, the train ride over to the museum, we would have had only like 2 hours at the museum, and we knew that wasn't enough. So where we got off with the subway, we said, hey, let's just walk back or quite a ways through Central Park and then, take a subway wherever and then go back for our train and all that. So that's what we ended up doing. So it was kind of impromptu because the Central Park was actually slotted for another day. And yes, slotted, because when I go on vacation, I write down all the days that we're there and I write a tentative plan. And that is just the OCD in me. I'm willing, to change it up a little bit. Like there, it was made sense to change it up, so we did. But I want to make sure that we utilize our time wherever we are the best possible way. So I have a schedule. And the same thing with the money. If I calculate that the trip is going to cost, and I calculate everything to the penny, so much per day for food, for this, I should do a page about that, about how when we go on vacation, I plan everything. And in 2001, we had gone to Disney with some friends, and I did everything for both families. Like I planned everything and the tickets and where we were going to go and everything, and even the budget. And my friend was like, oh, I wish you'd come on vacation with us all the time. We came back and we didn't have to spend anything above and beyond the budget at all. It was perfectly planned, like to the penny. We had, we weren't scrimping here and there. We had money to have fun. I mean, not unlimitless, but to have fun and not worry about running out of money. Every day we'd take out the X amount of money that we had for that day, and we would have fun with that money until it was gone. And usually we had money left over for the next day, and it was just perfect. So anyway, just a little insight to my OCD natures there. So this was another day when I came back, and if you saw a few videos ago, I kind of cut with my trimmer and kind of made a mistake and kind of cut the top of the layout, and I had flipped it back, but because of where it was cut, it ended up at the bottom of the layout, and I said that I was going to do this again. So this is, this is where I'm going to do it again. So I ended up cutting it at the top left and the bottom right, and then I just flipped it over, and it just looks like the page is flipped, and I just love that. And then I just glued it down. And now this was a new roll, and I was having issues with the new roll. Sometimes the glue, and I watched some videos, and it says that it's supposed to be on this side, but sometimes it ends up on this other side. Well, this brand of ATG tape is always on the wrong side. So I think they're just manufactured that way. There's no way that every single roll is wrong. So sometimes it takes a little bit of convincing to get it to work. And it's only a roll once in a while that it's really hard for you to convince it to go on the right side. But eventually I got it to work. So when I cut down my 12 by 12 so that it would fit on that cardstock, there was these little strips left, and the backside was kind of creamish with black polka dots. And I thought, oh, that goes perfectly with this layout. So just close to where I flipped the pattern paper, I'm going to put the little strip, and it's about 1/8 of an inch. And it just adds a little something else to the pattern paper. And now I took my India ink and added some splatters just because there wasn't a lot of black on the layout, and I want to make sure to add that. And now I'm putting down those little aqua stickers or teal stickers, and I'm just spelling out Central Park. I ended up using a couple of wood veneers on this, and to balance it off, I use one of those Amy Tangerine asterisks, and it's in craft. So it looks like wood veneer. So one is a heart, one is the word favorite, the other one's the asterisk. And I used some exclusive little die cuts that came with the kit. Now I'm going to add some twine. I'm just going to ball it up and I'm going to put it in 3 areas. And I also added some enamel dots that came with the kit. And so there's one that's actually the enamel, I guess they're not all dots. Some of them are hearts, some of them are little triangles. And I'm going to put them a few places on the layout. And also I'm going to add some little puffy stickers in the gold too. So I'm going to add those in a few places on the layout. And I'm just using my quick dry adhesive to glue that down. So then I had stamped out some images and I'm showing you there, and it's a few stamp set from the Lacy Sunshine, and I got those at the Not Too Shabby shop. And I decided on this one stamp set, and I've really slowed down the video so that I can show you how I colored her in. Now this layout, the layout itself took me 1 hour and 6 minutes to complete. Now to color her, that took me about half an hour. Ended up coloring her twice. I had it all done and I messed up her sneakers. So I had to color her again, but that's okay. I don't usually do my coloring while I'm doing the page, because to me that would take away too much from the time that I have scrapbooking. So it's whenever I don't have time to scrapbook, but I have time to color, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I ended up coloring her up. A lot of the times was after a night shift. I come in and, I come home and I do her hair. The next day I come home and I did her bow. And just a little tidbit here and there of time. And I finally got her done. And then I just turned on the recorder again and then just showed you where I was going to put her. Now, I could have put her where I end up putting her at the bottom there. I could have chosen to put her at the top. I ended up there at the bottom just because heavier stuff should be at the bottom of the layout if you can manage it. And here it just looks like she's sitting on the ground. And she's, got a little butterfly on her lap. So super cute. So this was a fun layout to complete. And I'm going to show you some close-ups of, all the embellishment clusters. So, okay, National Scrapbooking Day is coming up the first weekend of May. So I just want to let you know that the Hip Kit Club is going to have a National Scrapbooking Weekend, which is going to start on the 1st till the 3rd. So that should be a lot of fun. So be looking for that. I made sure that I was off, so I'll be able to participate all weekend. And I might have something up my sleeve for my YouTube channel and my Facebook group. So thanks for watching. Bye.